Hello everyone, my name is Steel and I am a Studio 1 student. For Folio 2, I want to make a 3D game developed in Unity. The game will revolve around the traditional Chinese story, the cat leaping over the dragon gate, where players control a cat, overcoming various challenges to eventually become a dragon. And I will try to design the game mechanic and level accordingly. The inquiry of this game is for players to conquer the challenging levels, gain a sense of accomplishment similar to the cat's journey in the story, where it overcomes obstacles and transforms into a dragon. Additionally, I aim to immerse players into a unique atmosphere created by ink painting art style, highlighting the distinctness of Chinese culture. For Field, Shield is a 3D platform game where players jump and move between shadows. Its distinct mechanics serve as a key reference for my own game. I particularly enjoy the shadow jumping mechanic, which has inspired me to design a similar level. However, in my game, players will be limited to move only within different colors of the water. Journey is an indie adventure game where players control a raw figure in vast desert, traveling towards a mountain in the distance. I really enjoy the integration of control passing, scenery, and puzzle elements in the games. In particular, the level design requires players to complete various small objectives within the current scenes in order to reach the next area. For the methodology, iteration design and prototyping, building gridbox in Unity and iteratively testing the mechanics such as the double jump for the cap character allowed me to experiment with player behaviors. The trial and error process gave me the room to understand what works and what doesn't, providing an insight into how players interact with mechanics, especially during the complex puzzle. At the level process, I gradually introduced more complex mechanics and elements, such as the area require frequently character color switch to pass through, or multiple double jump triggers. The gradual process in design ensures that player learning curve isn't too steep, while still offering a sense of challenges. This approach adds depth to the games and enhances the player's sense of accomplishment. Experiment with shader, particularly ink and outline shaders, helped me to create an aesthetic foundation for the game ink painting style. Methods like hand painting texture in Substance Painter along with using transparency shader for foliage have given me insight into how visual element contributes to the game atmosphere and cultural roots in Chinese art. By continually optimizing shaders, I'm not just focusing on the aesthetic but on how they communicate the themes. The ink style is tied to traditional Chinese culture, reinforcing the folktale narrative and grounding the game in its heritage. This cohesive visual language helps immerse players in the world and supports the emotional impact of the cap journeys. Incorporating feedback from playtesting and collaboration. Receiving feedback from collaborators like Tash and Ben has allowed me to explore different angles in gameplay mechanics, level design, and thematic delivery. Their suggestion led me to test various solutions, like the door mechanic inspired by color switching water area, and improving player movement to guide player control better. Production. I started creating gridbox and script for player mechanic in week 7. For camera movement, I choose to use Cinema Machine camera to follow my character. The benefit of this is that allows a quick camera script setup. On top of built-in Cinema Machine features, I add QR rotation to improve the player can locate their character within the scenes. For player controller, the basic setup is WSD to control movement and space to jump. The double jump can only be triggered when player touch the ink bubble and press the jump key again. This design allows me to introduce variant challenges in puzzle design, adding a center-level challenges that require players to adapt and overcome obstacles, giving them a sense of satisfaction. Black and white water. This idea is inspired by yin-yang. Players need to trigger an object to switch between black and white material in order to move through corresponding water area. This design transforms the common door mechanic in games into the puzzle element that require players to solve, while also aligning with the yin-yang themes from Chinese culture. The dash mechanic is designed to add more depth on the levels. Players will need to use a combination of double jump and dash to overcome certain obstacles in level design. In week 8, I made some optimization to player jumps mechanics. Firstly, based on test feedback from last week, which suggests adding some inertial movement when my cap character enters the water. I first attempt to achieve the inertial effect after entering the water by making the player move along a parabolic trajectory. However, this caused the incorrect collision between the crab and the ground. So I tried to control the y speed parameter to simulate the inertial, but the result was also unsatisfactory. When I detect the cap hitting the water, I used the alert function to manipulate the y speed smoothly. Still, instead of creating an inertial movement affected by the water resistance, it results in a slow sinking motion. These two failed attempts have taught me that I might need to achieve this effect through animation. Since I lack knowledge of animation region, I decided to set the optimization goal aside for now and attempt it again after I learn relevant skill during the holiday. The next optimization focused on player behavior at the apex of the jump, following a concept I have drawn. The first step is to reduce the gravity when player reaches the apex, allowing the player to stay at the highest point longer for easier control. And the second is to add acceleration while at the apex. This will make the jump feel more bouncier. In week 9, I began building the scene using some assets from the Folio 1 based on the gray box. Besides, I need to make some adjustment and optimization to the invisible wall in the scenes to ensure that players don't encounter unreasonable barriers during the gameplay, which could lead to confusion and frustrations. For instance, some of my invisible wall must cover the outside rock model to ensure that players don't clip through them. In addition, I worked on sculpting the terrain around the levels. After completing the terrain sculpting, I will explode it as an Obigo file and import it into the ZBrush for retopology using ZRemesher. This process will help to reduce the polygon count of the terrain model and allow me to customize the terrain material. In week 10, I mainly focused on creating VFX and particle system. I tried to make a bubble shader and then apply a splash effect to the ink bubble, aiming to give players more positive feedback after successfully perform a double jump. In addition, there is also the yin-yang switch trigger. I added a Taiji sample to the trigger to align with the ink-pending atmosphere and the cultural elements described in my inquiry. Week 11, I mainly worked on finalize the upper terrain of the waterfall and add sound effect to some of player mechanic. I also add some background music. This inclusion of the sound effect could provide a better feedback for player. Finally, the game is still in its demo stage, and there are many aspects need further refinement, such as the character animation, VFX, and the creation of plants models. During the holiday, I plan to learn more about animation and region to support the development of cap model and animation. In addition, more mechanics will be introduced in the level design, such as flowing water, whirlpools, and hot spring. This puzzle design will further enrich the gameplay experience of my game. Thank you for watching.